This is the brief on the modern manager turnover in automotive sales. Since today's hyper-educated car buyers spend hours researching online, that old-school high-pressure dealership handoff is totally dead, and it's got to be replaced by a strategic, frictionless partnership. First, we do the 300-second validation, also known as the manager flyby. Basically, a manager needs to introduce themselves within the very first 5 minutes of a customer arriving. Keep it super casual. Think of it like a friendly restaurant manager checking on your table to make sure you're having a good time, rather than some intimidating authority figure dragging a buyer into the principal's office. This drops those defensive barriers early on. Second is the story, not the score briefing. If negotiations stall out, usually from payment shock, you seamlessly transition to the TO. But before the manager steps in, you gotta brief them on the buyer's personal story, like a doubled commute, not just hand over a deal jacket with a 720 credit score. So why does the human story matter more than the math? Because it lets the manager actually solve the buyer's emotional anxiety instead of just blindly discounting the price. Finally, we hit the diffuse button. Look, the modern TO isn't a desperate rescue mission for a collapsed deal, and it's definitely not a heavy-handed closing tactic. The manager enters as a helpful advocate to absorb conflict and really lower the buyer's heart rate. And let's push back on that old-school ego trip. Relying on a manager isn't a salesperson's failure. It's a calculated team-selling safety net. Ultimately, mastering the modern TO transforms the sales desk from an adversarial battleground into a collaborative engine that protects profit margins and builds lasting customer loyalty.
In automotive retail, the first 5 minutes dictate the trajectory of the entire deal. Social media revolution and dealer network service have partnered to give you the psychological edge in every interaction. You're listening to a teaser, but the real power lies in our full-on training suite. We've built a curriculum of multiple videos, full podcasts, and diagnostic PDFs that master the VIP concierge mindset. By completing our assignments and tests, you will learn to manage a customer's heart rate and bypass their defensive shields before you ever mention a number. It's time to transition from a vendor to a trusted advisor. Start the full course at our website and win the process.